What if I told you one little radio show in 1938 scared a bunch of people so much in America it caused them to go insane? Of course, I'm referring to 1938's H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. I know it may be weird to review a radio program, but I wanted to do something a little bit different, and seeing that we're kind of in the middle of becoming back to Halloween time, I thought this would be an interesting treat. Just in case you don't know this legendary radio podcast, H.G. Wells is probably one of my favorites playwrights of all time. He took the most interesting avenues and just won with it. So it's now you might say, is this just another alien abduction story? Yeah, but you gotta remember this was 1938. 1938 was a different time. So before you say this is just another science fiction kind of story, you gotta admit, it's pretty original fill. And what's interesting about this is, just alone, people flip out about this. They actually thought this was real. Maybe there were a couple who thought this wasn't, don't get me wrong, but you gotta remember, this was before the news, this is before really anything, this was definitely before the internet. So, this was kind of how far can we push this? Because you gotta remember, this wasn't really the most popular thing. I forget the name, but it was another radio show that was popular. So people got sick of that, and so they tuned into this, and they kind of missed the second of it. And at first, it kind of plays like your normal, average news drama. However, it turns into, a war. Basically, a news reporter is kind of found a meteorite crash ran into Earth. He went to go celebrate with a couple people, and it turned out aliens. And that's basically a plot. But it is, I guess I gotta talk about the event itself, because it's more interesting than the radio. Don't get me wrong, I love the radio show itself, but I feel like the event made it legendary. People actually thought this was real, people. For a bunch of different reasons. Not just because of aliens. Keep in mind, this was during World War II, so they thought this could be Nazis too. This could be Nazis taking over America, they thought. Or they actually thought it was actually aliens or something else. Matter what the opinion was, they've actually got guns and started warming the streets, and, it was crazy. They thought aliens were taking over. So yeah, if you haven't heard this legendary radio program, I'm going to leave a link, and you're going to love what you hear, people, hopefully. This was a great listening back. My first time actually listening to this radio program was at school, at elementary school. My teacher was a big Alien fan, I remember. She was actually one of my favorite teachers, and she brought this over to, a disc to listen to. Of course, back in those days, they would reprint this stuff on discs in the early 2000s, so I got to hear a lot of those old radio shows. So yeah, I hope you enjoy my review of this, and check out, if you haven't heard it, or even if you have heard it, check it out again. You'll be amused again, and it's just a fun radio show, and it's also kind of it's weird how many people actually believe in this.